All right, it is Tuesday, September 11th, and this is part two of our Moving On Up program. So last week on our Zoom, we talked about the benefits and the perks that you would receive by moving up to the next level. We talked about how it's important to know why that you will want to move to the next level. So what will that additional income do for you? What will it do for your family? Personally, what will it do for you? And do you have enough belief in your abilities, yourself, and in Park Lane to begin to invite people to join our business opportunity? So part of what we did on that call as well was reference this list, which is the list of people that, just to help you start making a list of who you can potentially share the business with, in addition to, of course, who you meet at your shows. So if you don't have that form nearby, then on just a regular piece of paper and a pen, I would like to do a little exercise here. So grab a paper and a pen. I'm going to give you a second to do that. And we will generate a real quick list right now. Because sometimes when you overthink the list, you don't make the list, right? You end up, thinking about it too much and deciding this one wouldn't be interested, that one. So we're going to actually make the list quickly. Okay, so as fast as I say these categories, I want you to write someone down. Now there may be, leave space in between each one because there are going to be categories that you can go back and add more people. But I'm just going to whip through a bunch, and the first name that comes to mind, I want you to write down. Okay, ready? So the first category of people we're going to write down are business people. Okay, so write down someone who's a hairdresser. I'm going to give you a little extra time for hairdresser because I feel like we all know a lot of hairdressers. So who's a hairdresser? Write his or her name down. Who's a nurse that you know? We all know a couple of nurses too, so I'm going to give you time to write 3 nurses' names down. Who's someone else you know in another direct sales company, whether they're in direct sales right now or whether they are in direct sales, they were in direct sales in the past. Doesn't matter what company. Take a minute to write down a teacher. And again, we all know lots of teachers. So go ahead and write down another teacher. Probably I gave you enough time to write down at least 3 teachers. Who's a coworker that maybe you've had in an office, or who's just someone you know who works in an office? Any kind of capacity in an office, a receptionist, the secretary, the administrative assistant, the human resources person. So who are people that you know in those positions? Secretaries, assistants, administrative assistants, paralegals, all kinds of people like that. How about cashiers? Who's somebody that you know that works as a cashier somewhere? Someone who works in retail, right? Who works in Macy's, Dillard's, Ross, Kohl's, JCPenney, Nordstrom, Target, a cashier at even just a regular, even like a grocery store or something like that. Put down people that you know that work in those types of positions. And who's someone you know that's a bank teller? Go ahead and write down a bank teller. All right, we're going to move on to the next category. Let's write down some names of some of your relatives. So here we're going to bang through a whole bunch. Write down 2 of your aunts. And of course, that's such a big category, right? Sometimes we have people that really are your parents' friends, but you call them aunt. So who are some aunts? Sister and or sister-in-law. Do you have a niece that's 18 or older? Do you have a cousin? A daughter? A daughter-in-law? How about those related to your relatives? So for example, your sister's sister-in-law or your brother's sister-in-law. All right, let's talk about some acquaintances. This would just be write down 2 or 3 friends. How about friends of your friends? You know, that girl you see at the block party every year, or your cousin that has a party a couple of times a year, or your friend who has a party a couple of times a year, and you know those people, or the people that you see at football Sunday at your friend's house, then she has it every week. Write down some of those people. How about a babysitter? How about someone from church? Who's somebody you know that volunteers? Someone you know from the gym? How about somebody you know through contacts? Through your kids' contacts, I mean. Who are people that you know because of things that your children are involved in or children in your life are involved in? Write down a couple of those people. Okay, let's do a neighbors section. Your current neighbors. Write down a couple of names from the neighbors that you live near now. How about neighbors from a former address? How about a neighbor of someone that you know? So in other words, the neighbors that you know because you see them all the time at your brother's house or your sister's house or your parents' neighbors, things like that. So people that you know through the neighborhood somehow. Now, I want you to write down, if you've been in Park Lane for more than one party, write down a few customers of yours that come to mind. Now, this might be one you have to go back into your computer program to look people up, but sometimes you have those guests that stick out in your mind. So write down a couple of customers. Ones that struck you at the show, whether they spent a lot or whether they were real active during the party or they were super helpful or she came in with a beautiful outfit on. And then write down a couple of your hostesses. So just real quick, just jot down a bunch of hostesses if you have some. Okay, so you probably have at least a list of 10 in front of you, probably 15, maybe even 20. And certainly you can continue to build on this list when you're not just doing it in the middle of a call, when you have more time to think about it. You can sit down with your address book, with your phone, and go through who you have in there. So let's start narrowing down who might be best for what contact. So first, what I want you to do is put a star next to the names of people who are fun and who are personable. So put a star next to those people, the ones that just really strike you as people that are social, like to have a good time, love to chit chat. Okay, next I want you to put a $ symbol. And it's okay if people get more than one symbol, okay? Put a $ next to the names of people that you feel could probably use or want some additional income. And it could be somebody that you've had this conversation with who you know have expressed concern about money, or at one time had all this overtime she worked and now she doesn't, or husband's job got cut, her job got cut, just came upon some additional expenses. Who have you had that conversation with? Go ahead and put dollar signs next to them. Somebody that you know that has expenses coming up, putting an addition on the house, tuition bill coming, child needs braces, all of a sudden they're playing a sport that the school doesn't cover. All of these reasons are reasons that people might want to Park Lane income. Now let's go ahead and do another round of symbols. Again, they can certainly overlap. Put a J next to the people that you know are either jewelry lovers or just a fashionista in general. So who's someone who's a jewelry lover and or a fashionista? Go ahead and mark those people down as well. Now here's what you're probably discovering. As you start making these notes next to these names, it's now reminding you of other people, right? When you started thinking about, oh, she needs money because I know that she just told me that they don't have dental insurance and, you know, she has to have a tooth pulled or her son needs braces or something. That sometimes jars your memory of someone else that you had that conversation with. Or when you think of someone who's super fashionable, sometimes it reminds you of other people. So you always keep this list as a rolling list. This isn't a list you make one time. It becomes like a living document that you're constantly adding people to. That's why I love for this list to be actually in a notebook, because that notebook can just keep on going. You can use a binder and continually just add another sheet of loose leaf and keep that list going so that you can always be able to go back to the former names and touch back to people, and that becomes your lead notebook. So now that you have a list of people with symbols, write a brief note next to each person's name. So here's what I really want you to consider. The first thing to consider, why, and you're going to go down anybody with any of the three symbols. Why would this person be fun to work with? Okay, so note that down next to anybody with any of the symbols. Now, you're not obviously going to do all of them right here on this call, but maybe just do the first one on your list. Why would this person be fun to work with? Go ahead and answer that. Okay, then the next question that you're going to address, and you can write the questions down so that, again, you can go back and cross-reference this later because you're going to need to really think about this for everyone on the list. What benefit would Park Lane bring to this person or his or her family? What would be the specific benefit that Park Lane could bring to this particular person, this particular family? And again, you can just put that for the first person that you have down with a symbol. And then the final question that I would like you to put some notes down, and again, you could just do for the first one right now. Why did you think of this person? Why did you think of this person? And this is going to allow you, having put this level of thought into each person, is going to allow you to have such a better and more thoughtful conversation with that person. So now, hold that thought. On the bottom of the branch list that you were working on, and if you're not using this and you just have paper in front of you, then you'll just continue it on the bottom of the paper. But there's a spot on this to write down your story. And I know that this is something that a lot of newer team members struggle with because they don't quite know what to say. So I want to give you the formula of how you tell your Park Lane story at a show or even in a conversation. So you're going to write down these 4 parts, okay? That your story has 4 things that it's going to address. Number 1, what attracted you to Park Lane? What attracted you to Park Lane? Okay, part 2 that you're going to write down is, what obstacle did you need to overcome in order to join? What obstacle did you need to overcome in order to join? Number 3 is, what are you enjoying about your business so far? What are you enjoying about your business so far? And then the 4th thing is, what are you looking forward to? What are you looking forward to? So what this might sound like is, so I was attracted to try the Park Lane business because it looked like something super flexible that I'd be able to work around the part-time job I already had, as well as the kids' schedules. I wasn't quite sure if I'd be able to get coverage for the kids at night, but then I realized that I have that teenager down the street, and even if I paid her $10 an hour to watch the kids at something that I'm making $150 and I'll be gone for only maybe 2 or 3 hours, I was certainly going to come out ahead with the money. So I secured that babysitter, and I've really been enjoying just once a week getting out, doing a fun show with the girls, having some grown-up girl time, and having extra money that I've been able to use to pay for the kids' activities this fall. So I am just really looking forward to continuing to enjoy that extra income, to earn all of the extra free jewelry this month that I'm on track to earn, and perhaps even earn my first Park Lane trip. That's how easy saying your story is. And the reason that you address these specific questions, what attracted you to Park Lane? Somebody else in the room is attracted to the exact same thing. What's the obstacle you have to overcome? That's how you overcome an objection before someone even says it. So someone at every show is sitting at the show saying to themselves, oh, is it even worth paying a babysitter to do one of these parties? When you address, well, I paid her $10 an hour, but I generally make about $150 to $200 at a show, that's nothing compared to what you're paying your teenage babysitter. So whatever your obstacle was, I was afraid to talk in front of other people and do a presentation, and then I realized I don't really have to stand up. I can just sit down right at the table like we're doing right now and pass the jewelry around. So turns out I didn't have to do public speaking to sell Park Lane. That's it. So that's another popular one. You know, people are afraid to talk in front of people. People are afraid to stand up in front of people. Well, sit down then. No problem. What are you enjoying so far? People love to hear what's the great part. And what are you looking forward to? It's also noticed questions that even if you've only done one party, you can answer. So just keep it brief, keep it honest, and then you're ready to go when you're talking to people one-on-one and when you are doing your shows and it's time to tell your story. This is something that helps people be attracted to trying the business, is when you become, you humanize yourself and share some of yourself with them. So now you're ready to really start doing some reach outs. And it might just sound something as simple as, hey, Stacy, it's Michelle. You are my favorite hairstylist, and I just wanted to call you first about something that we have going. I think you know that I recently became a rep with Park Lane Jewelry, and I'm having fun with it. I'm making money with it. And I actually just started a leadership training program. And I've been asked to get feedback on our business from someone whose opinion I value. And of course, I thought of you. Would I be able to get some feedback from you about our programs on a little event that we're doing with my leader? It would only take, a little while. And then invite her to, I'm going to do an opportunity Zoom this coming Monday night, so the 17th. We're going to do it at 9 p.m. Eastern. I'm going to set it up as a Zoom. And then anybody who says, sure, I'll give you some feedback, then I need you and her on the Zoom on that Monday. So I'm going to provide the Zoom information, and then you just kind of get those people coming on, and you'll see how I share information, how I answer questions, and how we get people started. So this will be a little bit of a different variety than the opportunity events that we've been doing, because Zooms allow me to see them and them to see me, and allow them to ask questions in a more personal environment. So would I love to have 20 people on there? Absolutely. Am I okay if 4 people are on there? Yes, because 4 people could be 4 recruits, and that is 4 of you that could promote to branch. Or it's 4 of you that may be moving up to the next level, because some of you may be closer to the next level. So I would absolutely love to provide that service to you, where you can learn by hearing my words, by answering their questions, and hopefully I can go ahead and get some people started for you. So what I want you to do is continue working that list, continue thinking about how specifically this person could benefit, and go ahead and begin making the contacts to invite people to that Zoom on Monday. So I'm going to stop the recording. I'm going to see if anyone has questions, and I look forward to seeing you on the final part of our Branch Out program next Monday on the 17th, same night as the Zoom, but at 8 p.m. Eastern. So I'm going to stop the recording and then see if we have any questions. Thanks for joining on, or thanks for watching the replay later.